Jim Carrey, America's Canadian-born rubbery-faced comedic icon. His movies, shows, and stand-up are the reasons why we fell in love with this tall, rubbery man.
Tell ghost stories by the fire. And the sex.
But in recent years, he has been revealing a deep part of his psyche.
I believe that peace lies beyond personality, beyond invention and disguise, beyond the red S that you wear on your chest that makes bullets bounce off. I believe that it's deeper than that. I believe we're a field of energy dancing for itself.
A part of him created in depression, exposed in videos and interviews, and finally sublimated into the art he shares on Twitter. But should this artist be allowed to express himself so graphically?
Alrighty then.
Before we get into it, make sure to subscribe for more videos of me yelling in my living room. May not look it, but I'm in my living room. It's not all graphic, he has a true talent. Listening to him talk about his art, it's apparent he puts his heart and soul into it. His art is a true representation of his inner voice. Watching this video interview of him talking about what he's thinking about while creating some of this artwork was really jarring for me. I was like, wow, this guy, he's really passionate about what he's creating, and that's great for him. There's Electric Jesus. I can see this piece over my bed, just staring, always judging me, and Jesus's wonderful gaze. Actually, there's a lot of detail in the eyes. I really enjoyed this piece. Sun shower is fantastic as well. I would generally hang that up in my house if it weren't possibly 30 feet tall. I think it's pretty big. I need like one this big. Would be perfect. But once you get into the political realm of his Twitter posts, that's when things get a little crazy, a little cringy, a little gross. Let's start with Kay Ivey, the governor of Alabama. Someone get their grandma. She ran for governor and she won. She unfortunately made the mistake of being pro-life, and Jim had to tweet about her. So here she is, someone's grandma, depicted as a baby being aborted. This is scientifically accurate except for the glasses and the earrings. Twitter reacts in its usual self-destructive ways. I'll stick to the non-political posts to avoid demonetization. Not like I'm getting paid for my videos anyways. Remember, subscribe, share, like, comment. Dang. Jim used to be one of my favorite actors. Now he appears to be losing it. And it just makes me sad. Hashtag something I'm not going to share. Find it out yourself. It's political, okay? I won't talk about it. I can't imagine how lonely, dark, and miserable it is inside your troubled mind and empty heart. I will pray for you. Oh my god. This person sounds genuinely upset about Jim's state of mind. And like I said, it came from depression. He's had a rough few years since like 2011. The most disgusting tweet I've ever seen. If you are in a movie, it isn't going to be watched. Period. Depravity on parade. I mean, not everyone is disgusted. You're the best. Which is an odd comment to watching this baby being mutilated, but okay, whatever. I love your expression and voice in this world. It's needed and necessary. Green heart. Yeah, his expression is great. I mean, if you're talking about other works of art, that's great. Maybe she accidentally commented on this post. The next piece has a similar theme. I can see the anger in these pieces of art. The strokes are less deliberate and more like he's just trying to get the message out. I can sense the agenda he has by painting it, scanning it, and uploading it to Twitter. And that is our president as a dog. Not sure what he's really trying to portray with this, but Twitter seems to like it. You are an American treasure. He's Canadian. This scene from Ace Ventura may give us some insight on the context he's trying to portray. Or at least he has the experience to draw something like this. This is a really interesting style. Yeah, the style is interesting. Not the context, not the dog giving birth to a human. It's the style. That's what makes it interesting. Yeah, understand. You probably don't even know about Sun Shower. Alright, I know all about Jim Carrey's art. Okay, I'm not going to explain this picture, I'm just going to show it and let you receive the same impact I received as well on a Saturday morning, going through my Twitter feed and almost gagging. And it seems like Twitter had the same feels come up. If you look at most of the comments, they're all just reaction gifs of disgust, basically. And here are just a list of reaction gifs. So I feel the good reception of the puppy dog picture gave him some courage to go even further. And I feel like he's trying to find his stride here in the disgust factor and the political factor. This may be a little bit on one end. People were literally speechless. They just found a reaction gif and they posted it, or gif, whatever. That's all they can do. Now, after reviewing some of the worst ones, are these paintings actually allowed? Let's review Twitter's guidelines and see if these pictures pass the Twitter test. So the violent threats portion of the guidelines read, "We prohibit content that makes violent threats against an identifiable target. Violent threats are declarative statements of intent to inflict injuries that would result in serious and lasting bodily harm where an individual could die or be significantly injured. Example, I will kill you." So Jim states in that tweet, "I think if you're going to terminate a pregnancy, it should be done sometime before the fetus becomes governor of Alabama." The tweet is about the governor of Alabama, looks like the governor of Alabama, and he's inciting termination on a fetus before it has a chance to become a governor. I can't speak to this without alienating half my audience with the "where does life begin" debate, so I'll just give this one a pass. I'll just read more Twitter guidelines and leave it up to you, for this first one at least. "We have a zero tolerance policy against violent threats. Those deemed to be sharing violent threats will face immediate, permanent suspension of their account. We prohibit content that wishes, hopes, promotes, or expresses a desire for death, serious and lasting bodily harm, or serious disease against an entire protected category and or individuals who may be members of that category." So I'm sure that Twitter would have removed him by now if they would have seen these tweets as violent. Let's move on to the hateful imagery. So this section reads, "Images depicting others as less than human are altered to include hateful symbols. Altering images of individuals to include animalistic features." Well, he is a human coming out of a dog, so I guess he did his research and he found a loophole in that part of the guidelines. So we just have to trust Twitter in their strict enforcement of their guidelines. I don't see any blatant disregards to the guidelines, except for this post. He's an actual pig. He's depicted as a pig. Yep. Okay, he may not be following guidelines. The paintings may be grotesque and growing more unpopular in each step into his insanity. But he is allowed to exercise his freedom of speech in whatever crazy way he wants. Although untasteful, he is not actually inciting violence. This would be different if he was attacking the common folk, some random person on Twitter, but he's going against members of the government. We need the ability to call them out no matter what side of the aisle you associate with. If we stop this art, it will set a precedent to what will be removed in the future. Wacky caricatures of political incumbents are fun, and I don't want to lose them. And I'm sure that Jim Carrey's art is fun to some people as well. Some sick, demented people. But just ease up on the diaper rash art, Jim. The stuff is gross, and no one asked for that on a Saturday morning. Try like a Friday afternoon or something, where I can actually take it in. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Watch some of my other videos while you're here. Follow me on social media while you're at it, and have a good day.